to pray for me, I didn't go to the bathroom. So we have, I'm going to read a few minutes actually, I'm not going to lie to you, but just some memories that the kids and grandkids shared. But first I want to read a letter from Grandma's sister Susan. She couldn't be here today, but she wanted you to all know this. It says, "Family, I'm sorry that I can't be there today. Bob came into my life when I was about 3, and he always called me sis. I started thinking about all the good times I've had with Bob, and to be honest, I can't remember a bad time. From vacations he loaded us into a back seat to the farmhouse where the cows came on the porch. There were summers at Willowwood where my friends were allowed to come. We always had a good time with Bob. There was a time I was 16 and going to a Christmas dance, and he gave me a crystal bracelet, necklace, and earrings. I still wear them to this day during the holidays. He couldn't come to my wedding, but he had a corsage sent to me to wear on my going away outfit. I don't remember him ever asking anything from me. And last November he emailed me and he said, 'Sis, please come visit us.' I went at Christmas and had a nice time visiting. He made breakfast, which was always his favorite meal, steak and eggs. He will be missed, but the memories will always be with us. All the love I have be with you all today, Susan." Now I want to read some memories from Grandpa's kids and us grandkids, thoughts about him that we could share today. So there's just a little glimpse into the kind of man our grandpa was. Family was very important to my grandpa. He lost his mother when he was very young, and it instilled in him that family is something you should never take for granted. With 8 kids, you can only imagine the expenses, and if they were poor at any time, none of the kids knew it. He was so proud of his family that he insisted on Christmas morning videos, which started with the brightest light bar right in their faces. Aunt Mary remembers their prayer together from the time she was a little girl. Prayer like, "My Father, hear my prayers before I go to rest. 'Tis thy little child that comes to be blessed. Amen. God bless everybody." He always had ways that he showed you he loved you. On Aunt Brenda's 10th birthday, Grandpa took her on a date, just her and him. It was to Dairy Queen, and she got to have him all to herself. He gave her a beautiful bracelet with her name on it, which she still has today. And he told her she was very special and that she was going to do great things. There were Sunday outings playing baseball, and with 8 kids, they basically had the infield covered. There were many camping trips, singing around the campfire, Jeeps in the Army. I don't know that song. We can go over it later. And there were cold mornings up north with polar bear swims. Lots of vacations with all 8 kids in the car, traveling from Texas to New York. Early morning breakfast at diner was a favorite, and lots of complaining about who was going to sit next to the window. He wouldn't let any of his kids get their driver's license if he knew that they didn't know how to change their oil or fix a tire. He'd probably be mad at me because I can't do either. Probably every person in our family can vouch for what a great hugger he was. You always felt love with one of Grandpa's tight hugs. And when he hugged you, he always smelled so good. You know, he had that like signature Old Spice, that Chaz cologne. He kind of would like change it up every now and then. And when he asked about, whenever he was asked about his dark hair, which he still had very little gray at the age of 85, he'd always say, "I've been accused of coloring it, but I haven't a day in my life." Grandpa knew how to cook a steak. He loved it medium rare, smothered with mushrooms. And he'd always get all the dripping up with the dinner roll. Deer hunting every year was one of his most favorite things to do for many, many years. He took his sons, son-in-laws, and many grandsons. He said many things that you hear over and over again. Here are some Bob-isms for you. A job worth doing is a job worth doing well. Show up half an hour early and stay half an hour late. Work 2 or 3 jobs at one time if you have to. Always forgive, and I definitely remember this one. Eat your food if you want to be big and strong like Papa. Tim shared the thing I remember most was how proud of me he was when I gave a speech on the Korean War for history during Veterans Day. We always knew how proud of us he was of our accomplishments. Daniel told the story of watching the TV show MASH with him. He would always be mad at how some of the things didn't happen the way they were actually portrayed in the show. He would talk to me on how to be a good moral man, to be courageous for the ones who can't, to stand up for what's right no matter what the cost, and always love your family no matter the conditions. Bobby shared one of her fond memories was how Grandpa always made her feel safe and loved. He always tucked her in at night when she stayed with him, all the way through her teens, and even the night before she got married. He'd make her say her prayers, and then he'd kiss her on her forehead and say goodnight, Bubbles. Grandpa was a man of many nicknames. I think we all know that. There was Teddy Bear, Beeper, Number 4, Bubbles, Pork Chop, Doll, Brenda Susie, and many more. The most special nickname, though, was for Grandma. When he always talked about her, it was only my beautiful bride or the love of my life. Because Friday was Grandma's day, was Flower Day. And he was a great listener when he could actually hear us. You know, some of us question whether he could or if he was just trying to tune out the chaos. He loved his tools, and if you didn't put them back, you were in big trouble. Some trouble someone got into. He taught lots of us, his kids and grandkids, how to fix many things, and he teach them many skills, but he'd always say, you never know if you'll have the money to hire someone to fix it, so you better learn to do it yourself. The guy was so handy he could build a house. Actually, I think he built a few houses, a couple I've heard, and he was known for building things so well that it could stand a hurricane. Even though hurricanes don't come to Dallas often. When my dad would have a project around the house, I've heard many times, are we going to do it the Bob Baker way, which was the right way, or are we going to do it the Ray Baker way, which is like the get it done? Personally, for me, every time I saw him, he'd always ask about my mission trips or what was going on in my church. I could always see an excitement in his eyes, and he loved hearing about what God was doing. Never ever did you leave him without him saying, I love you. And that was never more precious to me than when I saw him last week for the last time, and he told us how beautiful we were and how much he loved us. I am proud to be his granddaughter, and as all my siblings and cousins are too. He was a kind of man that left a legacy of love in all of us.